Good afternoon. Just want to do a quick update video on my previous video on my Fuerte and my Pinkerton avocado trees that were leafing out with these holes in and multiple branching. And I did research, spoke to some people that know stuff, and I ended up getting this big bag. It's a lot more than what I need. It's a bag for commercial farmers, but it's all I could find. It's boron. It's 205 grams per kilogram of pure boron. It's called Aquasol, and this I will be dissolving in water and putting it on as a foliar spray with a foliar spray, and then just dripping down onto the roots, and as well as a root drench. So I'm going to be doing this to the trees right now. Spoke to a technician, and he said that it's a very good time to do it just before the flowers start opening. I was very doubtful about doing any sort of fertilizing before the flowers open, because I have made mistakes fertilizing with inorganic fertilizers, chemical fertilizers in the past that burnt the flowers, and I had problems. So Aquasol, I'm going to try this now. The mixture for this 205 grams per kilogram is 100 grams on 100 liters. I'll only be putting on 5 liters. They said in bad cases where there's a lot of leaves, where boron shortage is really visible, you can double that to 200 grams on 100 liters. So I'll bring that down to 5 liters. That means I got to put in only 10 grams of this per tree. I've only got 2 trees that's got these symptoms, so I will only do 2 trees. Means I'm going to use 20 grams. I've got 25 kilograms. I've got boron for a lifetime. So I'll get back to you shortly. I'm going to open this bag and start mixing up some of it and do a foliar spray, as well as a root drench. So I'll be doing just 2.5 liters around the roots approximately, and 2.5 liters on the leaves, and whatever drips off from the leaves will then penetrate the root system, and those 2 trees that look like they have a boron shortage will get its boron. So yes, back with you shortly. Alright, so upon opening, just want to zero this. On opening this, I noticed that this is a very fine white powder. It's a very fine, fluffy white powder, boron. Got way too much. Only need 10 grams. Alright, so that's what 13 grams. Put an extra few grams in there. I'll add a little bit more water. Don't think it'll do any damage. That's what that looks like. And I'll be adding this to 10 liters of water. My apologies, I said I'm going to double up the dosage. So I'm going to put, instead of 1 gram per liter or 100 grams on 100 liters, I'm going to go 200 grams on 100 liters, which brings me down to 20 grams for 10 liters of water. So I got 20 odd grams of boron powder that I will mix into 10 liters of water, fully dissolve this, and then I'll go in and show you my next step. I have zeroed this, and I'm just measuring out 5 kilograms of water, 5 liters of water. It's filled right to the brim, so I know it's 10 grams per one of these, 10 grams of boron per one of these 5 liters of water. Right, and together with the boron that I'm gonna apply to the trees, I got 150 kilograms of agricultural gypsum, landbougips, it's Afrikaans for agricultural gypsum. So I'm gonna just add about 300 grams of gypsum to the top of my mulch on every tree. A very interesting thing, I spoke to a expert, agricultural expert, a guy that does tests on soil today, and he said to me that I need to be careful with too much gypsum. He says if you have a clay layer below your topsoil, he says if you apply too much gypsum, the gypsum will gradually seep through the topsoil and will go and lie on top of the clay. So in our case, the clay is about 600 millimeters down. It's about 24 inches or so down below the topsoil, which is sand, salt and clay. And below that you get a table of a pot clay, like solid clay. And when the gypsum apparently goes down, makes its way through all the topsoil, through all the sand, salt and clay on top of that clay bed, it apparently pulls the salts out of the clay, and then it prevents it from leaching out through the clay, and it will lie on top of the clay and then will come up in the soil, and then you can actually get salt burn. So he says it's a very good thing, gypsum, but you need to be careful. This is coming from an expert. This is not my own thumbsuck business. This guy's been he's a soil scientist. He's been doing it for over 30 years. So this is coming from an expert, and so he said, because I said I usually just add 5 kilograms worth of gypsum per tree. He says once a year, twice a year, 250 to 300 grams of gypsum just sprinkled around the tree on top of the mulch and water it in is more than enough, is actually good enough for what the tree needs. So if I knew that, if I spoken to him before I bought this, I probably only would have bought 1 bag, but now I've got enough gypsum for the whole neighborhood's avocado trees. Alright, so here I am at the Pinkerton tree. If before anyone thinks what the heck this guy's doing, I just want to show you, if you've missed the previous videos on this tree, where I've shown about 12 branches coming out of one spot in that knot over there and growing outwards and not up, and leaves doing that. Those round holes, it's not June bugs. June bugs and grasshoppers chow them from the edges inward. Holes in the leaves, and these leaves, this new flush came out like this, like I've said previously, and some experts said that it's a boron shortage. See, I just dressed this tree with gypsum because I'm going to be watering it in with the boron, dissolved boron powder. So the reason for this video is I want to come back to it in some time and see sunbirds playing around, and see if there's any improvements. So I've mixed my 20 grams strong solution in 10 liters of water, and I'll show you what I'll do next. Alright, so I have this 1.5 liters. I'm going to put 1.5 liters of my boron mixture in here. This will give me a fine mist for foliar spray. Really get in underneath the leaves. Very nice fine mist. So I've done the foliar spray. I'll go in with the other 8.5 liters and I'll do the root drench. Boron to the rescue, baby. So there, tree number 1 done. Boron put on, some gypsum. I wasn't planning on doing anything to these trees. The experts promised me it'll be fine, so I went ahead and did it anyway. Knowing myself, even if they said I shouldn't do it, I probably still would have. I reckon that's why my trees are always challenged. I won't bore you with the rest. I'm gonna do this little guy over here. I'll be doing this fuerte tree over here. I'll be doing this little Pinkerton. I'll be doing all my trees, and let's see if we're gonna solve this problem. Thank you for watching.